Technically, we weren't talking. Now we are. But we can do it.
It's all right, man. But yeah, literally, open book. We can talk about our favorite gelato.
Mint chocolate chip.
They make gelato mint chocolate chip?
Yeah, I had about 4 of them since I've been here.
Like today, this afternoon, when you got in the room?
No, I had a s'mores on the way up here. Ooh. It was really good, too, but mint chocolate chip slaps.
I don't know if the Italians even know about s'mores.
I don't know. That was the quickest response I've ever seen from Ian.
What about pistachio?
We can try it later. I mean, I'm down to go get some more.
Okay.
I like pistachios.
I think we should experience that together.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a big pistachio guy, and
I could eat them by the handful. It's not good.
I'm talking about the gelato.
Well,
creamy
I could
nuts.
Eat that by the handful also.
Yeah. That's the appropriate way to eat a cup of gelato.
Yeah.
But no, we have a Randy's Donut, unfortunately, that is right next to the elevator in my hotel. We're staying at this Hilton Conrad thing.
Yeah.
And it's just it's a nice place. I like that I get to take the bus every day, so that's pretty nostalgic for me. That's fun. Yeah. And I don't have to walk everywhere, which is nice, but I was telling Ian we're exhibiting we exhibited in the Caesars now, which has been a nice quality of life change. I don't have to the big thing, the bathrooms, obviously. We spend our entire week there, and we're living in this booth essentially. I don't ever get to really leave. So it's nice that I can go right outside the hallway and have a nice, quiet, clean bathroom. I don't have to go down to the subway and have somebody yell at me while I pee into a cup or something. It's really cool. And there's lights. They have lights in the Caesars. I don't know if they don't really have that in the Venetian or anything.
They do. They just keep them way low.
Oh, okay.
Save on energy.
All right.
But is random question? I don't know. You don't have to answer it or not. Is there a price difference between being in one to the other when you're like setting up a booth like that?
I truly I can't even compare. I would imagine we got a good rate, but at the same time, moving to Caesars, it's like the wide open West coming from the East Coast to the West Coast. We have so much more real estate now. So we went from like a little 10 by 20 in Sig's like back alley that we had a great piece of real estate originally. We were Sig, Ruger, us, and even in our little 10 by 20. And then SIG one year decided that they're going to turn their entire booth around and build it 3 stories tall. So I have to look at some guy's crotch on this giant silk screen all week. And it's just like, what is happening? What did we do? And it's like, hey, we're back here. But
hi guys, here in the back alley over here.
Y'all want to see some magazines?
Yeah, the attendants keep dumping trash in our booth, and I'm like, that's not what this is. So, nice quality of life improvements overall. And, people can see the product, which is nice. I have a big open, floor, and I can put out tables and bring guns.
You don't have to whip out your handheld to look at the product.
Yeah, right. It's pretty cool. You can breathe in the room, too. Yeah. It's not like a weird carpet dust.
Did they have you in the basement prior to that?
There's not a
No, I've never been in the
asbestos.
basement. One time I walked down to the basement accidentally, and
3
I
years
got
later
a little
you came
lost. Yeah.
It'd be really dark in the basement if Mod Light wasn't down there.
Yeah. Shout out to Mod Light for modifying the lights and making them bright and having
Or was that the
insight.
basement? Was that the basement?
That was the basement.
That's
That's actually the first floor.
Oh.
But it's the basement.
Basement.
Yeah.
They should have done some sort of the electrical work is being sponsored. The electrical union sponsored by Mod Light or something. That would have been fun.
That'd be awesome.
They have a neat product line. I haven't messed around too much with it, but a bunch of guys that I shoot with, they always have a bunch of the handhelds.
Oh, they've got some newer stuff that's coming soon that's even cooler.
Yeah, it seems neat.
They do a good job. They do a good job. But if you want to do the honors, sir.
So this is the Big Tex Ordnance Podcast. Thank you for listening. I'm Ike. We have Chris. We have Ian. Ian's back with us again. Back at his home.
Yeah.
You okay over there? Do we need to move?
No, I'm good. It was
You're
just like a weird stretch that I did, and I thought my back was
my neck hurts, but you've had back surgery, so if you need to move.
No, it was just like the way my leg was and the stretch. It just I was like, oh no, paraplegic. We're good.
It's going
Everything's good.
Good.
Everything's good. I don't need surgery.
And I'm sorry for interrupting your intro of our friend here.
I'll re-roll the intro.
Sorry.
So we'll just leave it in. We'll do 2 intros.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Even better. So, Big Tex Ordnance Podcast. Ike, Chris, Ian. And now we can get to our guest, Justus from Duramag.
Yeah.
So, and we lost a camera.
That one.
Stand by.
God, we're gonna.
He warned you about the yellow
I was
light.
say, I think I remember.
I'm just saying. I was like, hey, hold up.
You said it was cool.
Yeah, you're like, this is cool, Grandpa.
It was very uncool. Ike, this is a lovely room.
Yeah, thank you.
I went to the Venetian accidentally first.
Oh, yeah. No, I did that yesterday.
Well,
had a
I don't know
meeting
how
and
you snuck by
I went up
me
to the
either.
33rd floor and went over, and I was like, this room number is, I'm looking for 203, and it says it starts at 700 and ends at 900. I'm like, oh, wait, Venetian.
Yeah.
Took off over there.
Yeah, I've never actually stayed in this hotel. I know obviously a lot of people do, but I don't know. We've always stayed off-site. I can be a little frugal sometimes. It's, I mean, it's not my money, but it's my money. I'm part of the company. So it's, I can't overspend on something. I wouldn't overspend my own money. Why would I overspend somebody else's money? So, but usually we stay in the Mirage, and that's okay. It's a classy hotel, and the service is excellent, but I hear they're tearing it down, so I guess that's never happening again. They're going to put up a guitar that you can apparently live in. So.
Okay, well, that's cool.
A guitar that you can apparently
That's
live
cool.
in.
This gives us the ability to do this, host this. I mean, we're getting close to this is
We'll
our.
probably have about 4 months worth of podcasts.
Yeah, we'll have 4 months worth of
that's super
podcast out of
cool.
this event.
So you guys are just logging them up.
Yeah,
Oh,
which
yeah.
will get us into Shooter Symposium. Have you been out to Shooter Symposium before? You should
Maybe.
be there.
That's cool.
Where do they do it?
Eagle Lake, the ranch.
In Texas?
In
yeah,
Texas.
it's a little bit west of Houston.
Yeah, a little bit west.
I don't know. I think maybe I've been. I don't know.
We can say you should.
I do a lot of demos.
You should be there, and then that'll get us into TTPOA, which now we've got all the year's podcast and we're done.
Yeah.
That I
Pretty
haven't
much.
done. I've thought a lot about like exhibiting there as like, a vendor or exhibitor or whatever. But I mean, obviously it's a very police oriented kind of a thing. I don't know, you guys go to that? Do you attend? Do you exhibit?
Sponsor,
Oh, you
platinum
guys
sponsor. Yeah.
Ooh, platinum's level. Okay.
Yeah.
So give me the rundown. Like, what is it?
So it's basically just like a trade show, just like all the attendees are LE. A lot of SWAT teams go out
Lot
there.
of SWAT
A
teams.
lot of SWAT teams. It's just so it's a big conference. So what they do is they have like the vendor day, and they also for like the next 3 or 4 days, maybe a week, they have a bunch of classes. So it's just like a big training event, conference, and then big vendor day.
At a nice hotel that's
At a nice
actually
hotel.
a destination water park resort.
It's like the largest indoor water park in the country or something.
Yeah, at the Kalahari Resort.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And so it's 1 day vendor day. We go up, we meet everybody, or is it 2 day vendor day?
I think it might be 2 days.
It's 2 day.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
2
it's
days.
2 days vendor day.
But they have like seminars and like stuff in between.
It's
so-
very well structured.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that show up. So
Yep.
like everybody that's attending the event goes to the vendor days.
Yep.
So I assume a lot of manufacturers come
A
out.
lot of
as well.
manufacturers,
Okay.
a lot of distributors, like GT distributors.
Really?
is out
Okay.
there.
Cool.
Yeah.
A lot of manufacturers.
A lot of guys that use mags too.
Yeah.
Ah. Oh.
Yeah. And
I
they
don't know
will-
if you know this, but that's very in line with what I do.
What do you do, sir?
I wear a lot of hats, but no, officially I am the vice president of sales for C Products Defense. So C Products Defense, more notably, the Duramag brand of magazines. We do a lot of other little things. We have some, sister companies. We do a lot of export work for, all kinds of arms and ammunition and stuff. But and then C Products Defense makes a lot of small components. But traditionally, our work was always focused on magazines. And then we did the Duramag brand. We developed that in 2018, 2019, and it's much easier to sell a product that has a name, instead of just a nondescript set of numbers and a loose company identifier. So, but it's a great organization. I'm sure you guys know what it feels like. You finally find a company that you can, you feel like you're really home. And, like the owner, Adel Jamil, he's been just a fantastic mentor. He's a wonderful guy him and I spend a lot of time together. He's very eccentric Lebanese man, and he's very passionate about what we do. He's been in the business since late 80s, early 90s in arms and exports, and he's a wealth of knowledge, wealth of experience, and primarily very business focused, and he just kind of happened into this industry, and it went very well for him. He was a customer. You guys may, we're of a certain age. We may remember that there was a C Products LLC. Years and years ago, they shut down in 2008. He was a customer. He was exporting their product all over the world, the magazines and everything. And then they shut down. They had a lot of, little issues here and there, and they were suddenly out of business. And he's like, well, I have an order. I have, this big export contract I need to fill. And he was like, you know what? Maybe this is an opportunity. I can get into something interesting and new. And he's like, oh, magazines are easy. we'll just turn on the machines and start going. And so he acquired the company, and it's interesting because he acquired the company and he acquired like the rights to the product, and then that was basically it. There was no tooling, there was no machines, there was no robotics. So C Products Defense is essentially the effort of a complete restart. All of our own designs, our own tools, our own machines. And he moved the entire thing down from, the Northeast down to Bradenton, Florida, and just powered through, through sheer will. And, C Products LLC had kind of, unfortunately, developed a bit of a negative reputation at the end of their time in our industry. And, it's something he deals in export. He doesn't deal in the commercial market. So he was like, I was unaware of it. But the thing that's most notable about the way that he approaches business. He's very relationship oriented. He's very long-term business. He's like, money comes out of good relationships and good business practice and good ethics. So he's like, that's where we put our best foot forward, is by doing that. You make the product, you represent it the right way, you stand by it because your name is the only thing you have. And that's the way he's instilled his values into us. He's like, whatever you're doing at any point in the day, he's like, consider that your name is on the line at all times. And he's like, not the company's name, your name. And so that was, it's something I've always loosely, felt and loosely believed, whether it was like I was working in retail or training or whatever it was I was doing in the industry or out. And, having somebody like him that I can work daily with as a mentor, it was like, it's something I deeply agree with. So it's been a lot of fun, man. I mean, we have fun with what we do.
Imagine.
Getting people to think about something that generally they consider boring. Our effort was to make magazines not only interesting but sometimes even fun. So, it's an interesting project.
The difference, the difference in the SKUs, the difference, the availability, the combinations. I'm sure it's on your end even more to manage than like on our end as a retailer for you. It's like, okay, it's black and black bodied, black follower, black bodied, orange follower, steel, aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
You get all those combinations, but it allows the end consumer to get exactly what they want with no compromise in quality. So if I want a 20 rounder that has orange followers in steel, because that's what I want, I can get it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's fun. We have fun with it. The first and foremost, what we do with Duramag is we make the magazines that we want, and I think that that's a really important distinction. There's a lot of magazine companies in the industry that aren't really gun guys, or they're just making a product because they were asked to make the product, and they have, maybe they were a stamping company. We're a magazine company first and foremost, or especially the brand. The company obviously started as a magazine company and expanding outwards, but it's like we care about the product first and foremost, and not only like I was a customer for years, so we're making the things that we want, and we're making it to a certain level that we're hoping that the passion and the quality and the consistency really translates to something that other people also want. And that's been the big thing about educating people about the Duramag brand, is like, it really is truly about the level of quality that we put into every single one of them. And all the little details that we kind of nerd out about that really nobody cares about, you know. It's just like, when people ask me like, what's the difference between this, or why is this being delayed? And I'm like, oh, well, we had to move this feature, you know, 0.3 of a thousandth this way because it changes the orientation of the cartridge stack. And if you use it in this gun that isn't available in this country, then it gives you a 10% enhancement in reliability. And it's just, and then, you know, I realize that I'm a crazy person. And they're like, why did you do this? And I'm like, oh, well, we have this contract in this country for this firearm, and that's why we made this angle and we put it in here. And they're like, okay, I don't know what that is. I'm like, don't worry about it then.
It's not your country.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, man, I don't know. Like I said, a lot of times we get real deep into the product, and sometimes we have to have OEMs like that. If we're working on an OEM product, sometimes they literally have the come to Jesus talk with us, and they're like, guys, it's fine. Let's just roll into production. They're like, if you want to make that change later on, just, you know, make the change. But we get a little in depth sometimes into it.
So I can delete this if I need to. But y'all are making the Springfield Prodigy. Is it Prodigy?
Yeah, don't delete it. Leave it in.
Yeah.
And then double it. Put some reverb on it.
Yeah. Okay. But y'all are making the mags
Enhance.
for Springfield, right?
Yeah, man. That was a really cool project. We wanted to do that for a long time. You know, we had a lot of ideas for 2011 mags and how we could kind of improve them across the board for years. I mean, it was one of the first like potential designs. You know, when my first week in the company, I got with our main engineer and I was like, you know, what else exists? Like, what can we do? And we were talking about all the stuff they'd quoted or designed and never really worked out. But yeah, we had some great ideas. There were a lot of things about 2011 mags that just had inefficiencies in the body, you know, and it just, you know, to get better performance and better rigidity out of the cartridge stack and, you know, have a little bit more reliable presentation of the cartridges, you know, just small changes need to be made. And there were some, you know, more advancements in coatings and, you know, tooling procedures, and we felt really confident about it. So, but it just kind of sat dormant for a while. But what was really cool is when we finally, you know, Otto has been friends with Dennis Reese Springfield for a long, long time. Longer than I'm sure he'd want me to mention. I don't want to age him in any way, but they've been friends for a long time, and it was a thing where we would always meet. We'd get dinner with the team. We'd meet up. We'd talk about what they're working on. We'd talk about what we're working on, and then finally we found a way to really kind of work together closely, and especially on a project that was just super cool. So it was very exciting for us. It was really, really very cool, very generous that it was something that we could also dual brand. Which was really, you know, it was really a blessing for us, you know. Again, it kind of goes back to that conversation of we're a lean company, and, you know, we try to be very careful with our money. So it's not something we're not a company that we can just dump a ton of money into manufacturing. Marketing. So we always try and let the product itself market itself. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you have a partner like Springfield that's sending out the level of quantity that Springfield would do on a release like this, and the marketing push that they're going to put into it, and all we said was, hey, we're going to give you a price, and we really want to put our logo on it. So it was, you know, there was some silence on that call for a little bit, but, you know, we got it through, and we have a great relationship with them. They're super nice people. They're a lot of them are you know, pretty big gun nerds too.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially all the development guys and the engineering team that they brought in, and they've made a lot of really interesting expansions lately in the last like 2 years to like their engineering and all their product development stuff. So they've got a great team over there, man. They're super nice. They're a tight knit group, and it's fun when, you know, we're pretty tight knit, and then it's nice when you have a whole other company kind of come in and you see their dynamic and you see kind of how close they are, and like how, you know, some of the mid-level guys and Dennis or Steve will just kind of talk to each other. You get a real sense that they're very close and they're colleagues. You know, Dennis owns the company, but he cares a lot about his people, and it's very much how Otto is, you know. Otto and I will get carried away just in his office talking. He set his office up like a living room because that's where we do our meetings. And we'll get carried away and it'll be 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And we're just talking about life and, our family is very close. And, he invites my mom and dad out to dinner. It's neat,
cool.
man. Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I mean, we like what we do, and we nerd out on a bunch of stuff, design a bunch of stuff we'll probably never make, and I don't know, we're just having fun.
What's the funnest project you've been involved in, magazine wise?
I don't know. There's always weird oddball calibers that get developed, and we'll do some prototyping on it, and a lot of times it's us like wire EDMing mags to kind of make a prototype or a makeshift thing, but there's always cool little stuff, and then it's fun. I really enjoy the fact that I get to shoot a lot of really expensive precision calibers in just mag dump them. It's just like
gotta see how this runs.
Yeah. And I have fun with it. I do a lot of our test inventory and our demo inventory, so it's like I really scratch that itch of building guns without spending any of my personal money. I mean, most of my ARs have been form 2'd and thus donated to the company because I'm like, well, I own these ARs, but they really should be machine guns, so let's go ahead and just pin these things up. But I like making weird themed guns out of oddball calibers. Like I recently made a very alternative history, like early GWatt fixed carry handle, full length cutout rail, 6.5 Grindle. And I put an NSN ACOG on it and a Car 15 stock, and I'll take it out to like the quantified performance matches and just like, I got a table and I'm shooting machine guns over there, and then like, one of the squads come through and I'll be like, I'll run this stage, and I walk up with this weird gun, and it's like a 16-inch with a fixed 4 power on it, and it's just like
Nice.
So I don't know. I mean, it's stuff like that that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We get an oddball like precision caliber, and it's like I get to make machine guns out of 6 arcs and 6.5 Grindles. And,
Yeah, we ordered some
224 Valkyries. That, I don't know what happened to that, but well.
Do you think you'll ever? I mean, the 6. Is it the 6.5 and the 6 arc mags currently are the same one?
Yeah, they're the same, man.
Do you think you'll ever switch the branding on that? So with 6 arc being more popular?
Yeah. So
I think I've talked to you about that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably do it, or we'll at least, we were gonna the next stamping run, we were just gonna dual mark them, 6.5/6 millimeter.
Yeah.
But honestly, with a lot of the demand, not only in the commercial side but in the professional side for 6 millimeter arc specifically, we're kind of thinking about it, and we're like, well, the big jump is always making a new parent tool. And when I say a parent tool, I'm really referring to like we use progressive die tooling. So instead of like stage tooling where it's a bunch of guys going from one little press to the other, it's the entire magazine is made out of one giant tool, and it feeds sheet metal through, and every time it comes down, it's it's churning out like 2 mated halves of a magazine. And that's first and foremost, that's the key to the consistency. But making that tool is very expensive. And it's like, we're always kind of like, is 6 millimeter arc going to go anywhere? Is it going to really do anything? And obviously in the last, year or so, in our sales, you can clearly see like, well, 6.5 Grindle mags we're selling here, and then 6 millimeter arc came out here, and then now we sell this many. So it's, it's a cool thing. But no, I like 6.5 Grindle a lot. So that was a big passion project for me. It was really developing a perfect mag for it. But the parent tooling is very expensive. I mean, we're talking like, it starts at like $200,000 to make one of these tools. So, and then there's all the R&D, and then there's the secondary operations that, have to be done on it. So, it's an investment.
So it stamps the marking, and it
stamps the whole body. So when you see it, like if we cut, a strip of it off, it looks like a rib cage essentially, and you can see the mag being formed at every little stage. Like we keep them kind of hanging in the office. They're pretty cool, but you'll see it. Like the first one is like the gutted flat of the magazine, and then the next one is where it turns up to the sides, and then the next one is like it gets the ribs in it, and then it's like little by little a magazine forms until you have the 2 mated pairs. So they come
That's
off the
cool.
tool and somebody goes click and puts them
Nice.
together. So it's very, very consistent. That's the nice thing about a prog tool is, it's easy to maintain. We design it with every intention of it being, able to modify so that we can make changes on the fly because, even when we have a product that we're happy with, I'm still in my office, like ignoring my emails and cutting up magazines and it's like, hey guys, we could do this with it. Or, I found a way to get 5 extra rounds in this magazine.
I get that. See, every time I call, you're on the range, and then it takes you a little while to email me back.
Yeah, I do a lot of our
But you're having fun, dude.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's the point.
No, but I also it kind of goes back, we're a lean company. We wear a lot of hats. I do a lot of the lot testing, and we lot test every single run of magazines, and it's it's not too extensive, but it's a procedure that I have to go through, and it's I'm kind of in charge of the armor responsibilities for the company as well. It's so it's okay, I'll build the guns, I'll maintain the guns, I'll keep their track record, and I'll do all the lot testing. So it's
Ouch.
yeah,
They twist your arm a lot to do that?
honestly, it gets tiresome. Everybody is always. It's funny. I get the offers all the time where I'm kind of scheduling out things. I'm talking to my friends, and we're like, well, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, well, I actually gotta load up everything. I'll be out at the range all day, and if it's a long day, I go out to a property that we use, and it'd be like a 10,000 round day or something like that. And they're like, oh man, I'm so jealous. I'd love to do. I'm like, are you free? Because you can pull triggers all day. That's fine. And it's they don't understand what it's like. It's like, okay, there's a difference between running, a couple hundred rounds of 5.56 and running 10,000 rounds of 5.56 through one mag and one gun, because there's a test standard that has to be maintained. And I'm like, it's going to take 12 hours. The thermal cycling is important and everything. It's like, this is work, dude, and they don't understand it. And then there's the other side of things where they're like, the alternative caliber space, and it's like, hey, we're doing this OEM mag, and it's chambered in 450 Bushmaster, and there's 7,000 rounds that have to be gone through. So have fun.
Have fun, kiddo.
Have fun with that mild concussion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it's
TBI.
terrible.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, it gets fun. Like the new 400 Legend, I've been working on that for a few months. I don't know if have you heard of this? Have you heard of this 400 Legend? New caliber that Winchester developed, straight wall 40 caliber, intermediate cartridge length, goes in an AR-15, but pretty cool, big, fat, 215 grain bullet, and we developed the mags for it. I just hit 9,500 rounds of testing on that, the proof testing for that cartridge. So yeah, we had a couple of people volunteer, and my boss was like, hey, why don't you get somebody else to do it? And I was like, I tried. People shoot one mag, and they suddenly, I'm getting a phone call.
Yeah.
They never come back.
It's a really long phone call. I got a question. And again, if this is no bueno, when you guys are in full on run and making mags, what can you pump out in a day of making just standard AR-15 mags?
Wow.
And I was going to add and variant to that, but go for it.
Well, no, it's a complex question. So there's a lot of processes involved. There's a lot of balancing of different processes. So welding is completely scalable. A day has 24 hours in it. So, it's all about, how much, the welders can get through. And really it's kind of the thing, each cell is automated for welding, like spot welding, let's say. And this kind of more goes into the process. AUTL doesn't really beat up the production on quotas or numbers. Obviously, there's kind of a baseline of hey, if you're going below this, we need to figure out what the inefficiency is. But his main focus, all of our main focus is quality. So when somebody's sitting at the spot welder, it's pretty cool. The spot welder is completely automated. It's in a fully robotic cell. Each robot, 2 robots in a cell, 2 welders, and they run independently. And we have a laser system that kind of controls and gates everything. But the operator is not so much an operator. They're a QC person. So their only job is they sit there, they visually inspect the parts. We have our post and hole trademark, construction that mechanically locks it. But they do a full visual inspection on that, and that's an easy go or no go. Make sure it's locked together, and then they put the unwelded mag through no go internal gauging, no go external gauging, and then they put it on a belt. As they're putting it on a belt, another one's coming out that's been welded, and they run through the entire inspection again. Like we, not only at welding, we inspect every individual magazine, but every stage.
Every mag gets gauged.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple.
Crazy.
The machine runs itself. Like they have, their only responsibility is just to simply, inspect everything, and they have the time to do it the way that we've set up the processes. Yeah. Laser welding is that way for, pistol mags and other rifle mags that we do. But, even the assembly, people, that's the interesting story. So if we get, let's say, aluminum mags, they come through anodizing, and, we have, maybe 3 pallets worth, which is, about 8,000 mags. They'll burn through that in a couple of hours. They're amazing. And we talked a lot about setting up an automated system that they would just load the components in and it would just throw the mag together. But it got to the point where, like, our people have been with us for so long, most of them, for 5, 6, 7 years. They know the product very well, and they're very good about catching any possible defect or discoloration or just anything that they find questionable. They're encouraged to just set aside. Like, if you don't feel right about it, go with your gut and just put it aside. We'll inspect it later. Yeah. And they're super fast. Like, they'll just burn through these. Like, each individual assembler can do easily, like, anywhere from 14 to 2,000 mags, 1,400 to 2,000 mags per day in a regular, like, and that's 7 to 8 hour shift.
And that's putting the spring, the foul, or
doing the full assembly. Like they pull the body out. And we've tried to make it pretty efficient to them. Like, we built them like custom workstations, and it's all adjustable to them, their comfort their level. They can stage out all their products, and we have somebody that comes through and, like, refills all their bins.
You're talking Chris's language right now. He's getting
they have
woody.
fun with it.
I just booked a flight. Sorry, I didn't ask. But I'm coming down just to hang out with you and do that, because that's all I'm about is, like, processes.
Yeah, you can watch the robots just kind of spin around.
Do that, and, like, I want everybody's, this needs to be here and this needs to be here, and adjustable this, and he's like, hold on, we can't do that yet.
Oh, you'll like this. So the tabletop that they work off of, okay, we did it out of, like, a real thick, machine grade Delrin. But the center of their workstation, we built it so that it's interchangeable. It has this big square that bolts in. And usually if they're, like, assembling, like, 5.56 30-round mags, they just want a rubber space to kind of just work off, because they do just those by hand, and they want to be able to just, not scratch it up or anything, which is, the product is durable. But that station, that little center point was built with the fact that, like, depending on the product that they do, like you mentioned the 2011 mags. The 2011 mags, we have a fixture. So we pop that rubber piece out, and we put this fixture in that has, like, a lever and everything. All they do is put the assembly together, the spring, the floor plate, the retainer plate, the follower, the body over it, and they just hold it in place, crank a lever, and it pops all the components together.
That's cool.
So we have these fixtures, these kind of semi-automated fixtures that we kind of swap out. And, it's a nice quality of life thing for them. Our lead engineer maybe dedicated a little too much on this project, because he likes to, get distracted on other things. But, he had fun with it. So I guess that's, why build another laser welder when you could build another one of these stations? I guess we don't need the other laser welder or anything. But no, it's fun. I mean, the production level is scalable. It depends on the product that we're making. Yeah. The aluminum goes the fastest. It's by far the quickest thing that we can push through. But it's interesting because the aluminum welds slower than the stainless steel, because we tip dress the welders after every single magazine. Tip dressing is essentially, so you have your points of contact that actually weld it. We come through, a little grinder comes through, and it hits the top one and it hits the bottom one. It's like, like putting your pencil back in the pencil sharpener, and we redress the every single mag. The stainless you can do every other.
Yeah, it's the perfect weld every time.
Yeah, and we also do single welds. We noticed a lot of other companies like OK Industries, SureFeed doesn't exist anymore, so I can talk about the way they made mags. But they were doing theirs with all of their welds in one. And when we kind of went through that, it's like, oh, well, we're dedicating all of our force and all of our amperage into one weld, where they're doing the same force and the same amperage across all of them. And I'm just like, oh, that is a little different. Like, you know, all of our lead engineers, he came from automotive, and he's like, no, you need more force, and especially because the military dictates, you know, shear force on the welds has to be a certain degree. Like, you literally cannot shear our welds apart. Like, we really put a lot of effort into that. And it's not something that gets focused on too much anymore, but, you know, the welds, they're ridiculous. But yeah, and then a big part of that is making sure that the consistency is there. Is the tip dressing, the redressing of every single one, but that slows down the process. But for us, quality is more important than, if we didn't do that, we could, you know, if we did it every 3 mags or every 4 mags, we could increase, you know, by like 20% the throughput. But it's like, no, let's, you know, our people want to work overtime anyways, and we offer it to them, so let them have an extra hour, and you know, it's whatever, you know, they're enjoying themselves. They just sit there and kind of, you know, burn through whatever they're doing. So whatever.
That's cool.
Quality is everything, rather than, you know, the throughput. So yeah, that's but it gets fun. And then we've incorporated a lot of new processes. We have all kinds of machining stuff, and, you know, we kind of, so, you know, we've been showing it off little by little, but we have a suppressor division that we have now. So
yeah, tell us about that.
It's cool. You know, basically it goes back into, like, we make the mags that we always wanted. We're making the suppressors that we always wanted. We're kind of thinking about it in a little bit of a different way, but it works off of a principle of pressure equalization to achieve, you know, next gen requirements of, you know, low to no back pressure, hearing safe, you know, et cetera. But it's pretty cool. So the way that it's designed is it evenly dissipates and distributes its pressure throughout the entire system, instead of just, you know, redirecting it and flowing it out the front or whatever you have going on. You know, that's we're trying to balance everything out and then vent it accordingly. But it's pretty cool. It's and the other cool thing is, like, I like monocore suppressors because of the ability to take it apart and clean it, which you absolutely have to clean suppressors if you want, especially if they're a, you know, some sort of, you know, multi-channel design. You know, they clog real easily. Like, I've blown up enough suppressors and I've cut away enough suppressors to know that, like, you know, just putting them in an ultrasonic or CLR or CLP or CLR, whatever you're using. Some guys use CLR. I think they got confused. But it doesn't do a lot. You know, it's just like, if you want to really clean this thing and you're, you know, really particular about it, it's like, why wouldn't you want to take the middle part of it out and really just, you know, blast the hell out of it? But no, it's pretty cool, man. You know, we have a geometry that really maximizes surface area and air volume together, and it creates multiple channels, but they have these are channels that can't really get clogged up, and we've been exploring all kinds of new coatings and ways to, you know, really prevent carbon buildup, and also, like, you know, prevent the sparking of titanium, which is a big thing. You know, it's like, it's become an acceptable thing, but it was like, does it have to be accepted? Like, we could probably get rid of it. So, you know, I found a lot of times when we're developing something, it's like our industry is always like 10 years behind most other manufacturing. So it's very simple. When we want to do something, we go outside the industry and we talk to, you know, coating companies or whatever that doesn't really do a lot of business in our industry. And they're like, oh, yeah, we have something to fix that. That's no problem. We fixed that, like, 20 years ago. We do it on this product because, you know, the titanium gets superheated, and they're like, we've got it. It's no problem. And, you know, here's 4 different versions of it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Are y'all selling suppressors right now, like to the?
No, man. I haven't even. Embarrassingly, I haven't really even finished branding. That's a hard thing to do. You know, I mean, Duramag was a bit on the nose, and it's a little obvious. You know, that was an easy one. But this is obviously such a big project, and we've brought all the manufacturing in-house, so the pressure is obviously mounting, but like we brought 3D printing in house because we didn't like working with a vendor. So Otto was like, I'll buy the machines.
That's awesome.
And he's like,
Yeah.
you basically, it's like a microwave. You turn it on. I'm like, it can't be like that.
So you said something there that brought a question to mind. Coatings. And speaking of coatings, the Tiger Stripe mag, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
In the background here.
Yeah.
The Woodlands did amazing. The Ano.
Yeah.
Right? The M81 Ano mags that we had. Amazing mag. They look fantastic. I mean, people have been doing patterned Ano on airsoft guns and different things for decades.
Yeah.
On that. But what all do y'all do in-house, if you can talk about it?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the coating side, because you make black mags, you make gray mags that are your standard gray, powdery coating, whatever. I don't even know what you call that coating on the gray mags.
It's a hard coat ano with
okay.
The anodizing is I like the way we do our anodizing. So it's a full hard coat. Doesn't matter the color or whatever. But we incorporated our Teflon process in line with the anodizing process. So it's really and you and I were chit-chatting about anodizing, so you know that there is a period of time where the anodizing is susceptible and it's porous, and so we basically infuse the Teflon immediately in while it's open and more accepting of the Teflon. So I think that's part of it. But no, we use a vendor for that. Anodizing is a hazardous kind of a thing, and we're not ever shy of really deferring to the experts, if you will.
It's going to be me.
Oh, is it? He's very confident.
And of all the processes, I think we've talked about anodizing more in more podcasts than anything, because that always tends to be where we see the issues.
So hot right now.
All the issues. The dude sitting in your seat yesterday morning was like, "Oh, I want to talk about ano," and we kept on bringing it up. But he's like, "Can you quit talking about ano?" Because it's such a pain in the ass for him.
I want to talk about ano more. So let's, if we can, yeah. Like we got not only are we anodizing, we're our anodizing partner has developed this wonderful technology where they can literally image transfer. Oh, thank you.
That way, when the camera zooms in on you, because you're the one talking,
they can literally image transfer any basically a picture. This isn't them just trying to copy a pattern and trying to figure out how to distribute the color. I literally send them a vector, take a picture of your face and put it onto this image transfer, and we can anodize your face into the magazine. So it's very cool.
How many do you have to do at one time to do that?
How many do you want? How much of yourself do you want to see in the world?
Can we get everyone?
Have you seen the Ike sticker? The I like Ike sticker that we have?
I have not.
Ike, and it's like the U.S. President Obama color scheme.
Yeah,
where he's like looking, and it's all. We've got that.
I've heard of politics.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
We should do
I'm a man of the world.
10 mags of everyone's face at the shop.
I mean, it's doable. I mean, they're done by hand, every single one of them. So when I ask for samples, they usually I have 10 of these exist. So, there's that. So be careful,
This is, it's really cool. And that's a phenomenal
The Woodland one
process.
turned out great. So that looks great also.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it's, again, that's a project. It was just something I wanted to see. It's like, how do we camouflage mags and have it not be any different from our regular process? So that's how we did it. And that coating is no different. It's the exact same anodizing that we do, but it's just this interesting, they have this special, for lack of a better term, they have a special paper that they print on that is chemically designed to work with the acid in the anodizing process. So what they do is they put the magazines through, let's say halfway through the anodizing process, there's a series of dips. They pull it out and they individually wrap the magazine with this transfer paper, and then they re-rack and put it back through. And as it reacts chemically with the anodizing process, it basically transfers the image into the metal. And then it's hard coat and it's sealed in with a Teflon, and it's so it's exactly the same. It's super cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
the possibilities are endless because every African nation developed a wildly drippy camouflage, so we can get weird with it.
That's cool.
But then
Some
also the
Rhodesian
standards are
camo
easy.
mags.
Rhodesian.
Yeah.
Those would be
I have a
hot.
vector for Rhodesian. That's I'm going to run samples on that next, and it's amazing. These vectors just exist, so it's just like I'm just pull it off. If I have to buy it and buy the license to it, it's easy.
There's little multicam TMs all over the freaking vector paper.
That's next, actually. I really want to do multicam. I just haven't had the time to really dive into it. I know we're going to have to license that, so it's just I just have to take the time and reach out to Cry Precision and say, may I please have the files?
Please give files.
Yeah.
So speaking of, there's 12 people out there that would be mad. Have y'all ever thought about doing at least 12 purple magazines? Y'all purple ano at all?
I mean, yeah, there are literally dozens of people that would that would buy purple. No, purple's something I've been trying to do for a while, and it's non-hard coat, like a Type 2 ano. You can pretty much do any color you want, and it's very consistent. But hard coat is a different thing all in itself. I'm reaching the maximum of my my ability to speak on the process. I'm not an anodizer. I've never done it in my life. I've walked into the room and said, "Ew, this stinks," and I walk out, and I was like, explain it to me from this room. It's just like that's the way it was explained to me by the experts. So I'm just disseminating the information. Type 3 hard coat is just a little bit harder to get, color matching, or you're kind of limited in the variety of colors that you can do. And that was just one of them that, our vendor was like, well, how many purple are you going to sell? Because we're going to have to set up an entire line for it. We can't just temporarily set it up. That's not the way they do things. They're a large scale,
Yeah.
Every single line that we have. If we do a color, there's an anodizing line always, working or always waiting for parts. It's just like, we like to invest in that sort of thing.
Yeah, because you've got like the red mags, you've got blue mags.
Of course, it's red.
You've got You've got the FDE-ish bronze.
Yeah, I called it bronze.
The bronze looks
because
really
it's not,
good.
It's not FDE, it's not brown. It's just like, it's kind of bronze.
But you throw that into a 50 Shades rifle.
Exactly.
And it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
The what's the yellow one?
I call it Desert Gold. Basically, I said, I want RAL 8000. And I said, and they were like, how about this? And I said, that's good enough. I was like, that's pretty close.
That one in an FDE rifle looks awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The green looks good.
I like
too.
having fun. Oh, the OD green is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I kick myself every day for not, absolutely throwing a temper tantrum about not having OD green until like 2020 or something like that. And I was always like, hey, why can't we do OD green? We even had an old green that was more of like the green that you see on like a woodland, where it's more like emerald kind of green. It's we had that for a long time, and it didn't sell well until we got rid of it. And then people are like, "Where's the green?"
Yeah, I think I had the SKUs wrong one time on a product that I was going through, like old products, and I was like, "Well, this is actually not OD green. This is this SKU. Oh, let's go back to this one. Let's have them both." Oh, they don't offer that one anymore. Okay, so I'll go back in. Which one was it? Was it 897234 or was it 897233?
Yeah.
And you go in and find it. But the cool thing is they all work phenomenal. And we're officially a Duramag commercial here at this point. But it's red, it works. It's blue, it works. It's yellow, it works. Or desert sun.
Yellow is fine,
Yeah.
That's not racist, is it?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. But that's the cool thing. They freaking work. And very rarely do we get any issues back. If anything, we send the wrong one. Like that's our biggest customer service complaint, because SKUs can be difficult sometimes.
I know numbers are hard. I get it.
But if it was letters and numbers, it would be the same thing. It got put in the wrong box.
I think half our crew is dyslexic too, so me being one of them.
Yeah, for sure.
The more I learn about that, I don't think so. So anyway.
You got a touch of something else.
Or half the crew has a touch of something else, which is probably also a thing.
It's cool to see. And then you do a ton of OEM stuff for people.
Yeah.
We've talked about that. You do the Sons of Liberty mags.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite private label products, and the Sons guys have always been really cool to us, and I know you guys know them, but Mike is Mike, and he's very he's very down to earth, and he's just very I like this product kicks ass, and he's like let's do it. And the cool thing is they've been really cool, unlike a lot of other OEMs. Like when we private label stuff, it's like, yeah, we get paid for it, but it's it's just a little point of pride, but a lot of times they don't really hype it up. They don't tell anybody. They just say it's their mag, and I'm like, that's cool. That's the whole arrangement. I get what this is, but Sons of Liberty doesn't have to tell people that we make the mags. Our name isn't on it; it's their name on it, but they do anyways.
Yeah.
And it's really a big point of pride for us, And again, it goes back to our success is the relationships that we've built. I have clients that aren't big money clients, but I'm just super proud that we work together. And or they have a cool project, you know. Maybe they imported 1,000 guns and they chose our mags to be in that 1,000 guns, and that's the end of it. And it's they're not a big dollar value client, but it's an important thing to us, and it's just there's intrinsic value in that. It's I think a cool example is the guys at Robinson Armament. Alex Robinson and I have known each other a long time, and he's known the CPD team for a long time too, and he's always insisted on using our mags. And it's they're a custom build to order rifle manufacturer, and they build really cool guns, and they're very passionate about what they do. And do they buy the same amount of mags that Ruger does? No, not even close. But it's the fact that I don't care if they're buying 100 mags a year or 100 mags a month. It's I'm just proud to be a part of that. And it's really, really cool for us, man. So that's why, for us, when we do OEM stuff, and, I feel the same pride over, a smaller boutique manufacturer that I do as being partners with Ruger and, doing stuff with them. It's a lot of fun for us.
Yeah. And y'all seeking us out, to go direct with y'all too, via social media. We're messaging each other to go direct with Duramag, and
don't leak the chat, dude. Don't leak my messages.
Yeah. Bunch of feet pics.
Anyway, but seriously, can I talk about it?
Yeah. Well, no. Of course. You guys have, without being too cheesy, you guys have the vibe. You guys have everything that we like. You have the passion for the product, and you guys are excellent at representing, our brand. So of course, any level that we can work together. Again, it's I don't care if you're ordering 1,000 mags a week or 50 mags a week. It's a point of pride for us. And so that's really cool. We appreciate you guys.
How long have you been with them?
Well, I started in 2018, January 2nd. I made a clean New Year break. It was very cool.
Congrats on 4 years.
6.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah, numbers are hard for you guys.
So, like I said, welcome back to SHOT Show 2022.
What do you got in that bottle, man?
We appreciate it.
This
dude,
is all vodka.
Because when we can go, we can do a working relationship with a vendor such as yourself and get the products that we need fast and at a fantastic price, so we can push that savings over to our customers and carry a product that, I don't know how many bags.
I run a lot of Duramags.
Yeah.
My man.
Same.
How many you got? How many you got on you
lot.
right now?
One.
No, I'm the one that has one, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's my favorite Big Tex right now.
But that makes a difference. And I know people that listen to the podcast regular, you see a theme in the people that we have on that we work with, and it's this vibe that everybody, even our competitors, see. And it's a point of honor and a point of pride for us to be able to work closely with a brand such as yourself and do what we do.
That's cool.
So it's cool. That's cool.
No, I appreciate you guys, man. You know what I really want to do? I've got a little Texas trip coming up, but obviously you guys have nothing but free time, I know. So let's plan it out. I really want to come out and let's do like a little range day. I mean, I don't know how many employees you guys have. You have your own range, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's indoor.
Yep.
Or outdoor.
Indoor.
Okay. We could just open the door. It could be outdoor.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
We can go to an outdoor range.
Yeah,
also.
we do have access.
Well, I mean, we have fun, but I mean, it would be really cool. How many employees do you guys have?
In Texas, probably about 20.
In Texas,
Yeah.
I mean, we're multinational.
Yeah,
now? What's
prestige
happening?
worldwide.
We've got part of our customer service teams in Georgia and New Mexico.
The state or the country?
We're not sure.
Okay.
She runs a farm.
I know
somewhere.
it gets really
Definitely the
confusing.
state, since they charge sales tax now. Definitely the state.
Well, you got to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're
I think
in
it would
3
be
time
cool.
zones currently. We got Eastern, Central, and then we got got the Mountain Time.
Ian
over there at
time.
the end. Yeah.
Ian time.
There's
Other
another
Ian.
Ian.
Yeah. There's
Ian number
two Ians.
two.
Two Ians.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
Christ.
Ian number 1. There's an Ian number 2.
We did the math the other
He's
day.
grandfathered in. He's like the original Ian.
Yeah, OG Ian.
Yeah. We did the math the other day. The statistics say that's 1 in.
I think it was like 600 something.
Yeah.
Well, we've established you guys are not good with numbers, so I do not trust whatever math you've done.
I struggled the other day sitting in that chair doing math
Yes, you
on the
did.
podcast.
Yeah.
We're not good with numbers.
That's-
We are currently looking for – no, never mind. We're not looking for
we
an
are
accountant
currently
anymore.
looking for a calculator.
He had a calculator.
I forgot the 60. My
He's
bad.
like carry the 2 and
We
divide
don't.
by
That's why
28.
we don't. He doesn't do math.
That's cool. I've seen a number once.
But
or
yeah,
twice
come
about
by.
it.
We have about 20 employees.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Let's bring out some oddballs and just hang out. Let's let's treat the boys and girls in the office if they get a free day or something. I don't want to. I don't know. I think I have. Do I have the authority to give them like a half day off or something? It's like, can we do that? But I don't know. I think it'd be fun. It's something I really like doing with accounts that I really enjoy spending time with. So I think it'd be cool. We could demo some cool stuff. I can bully you guys into buying more like 7.62x39 mags. Which you know what? Let's talk about that. We were emailing late at night. In between romantic messages, I was saying, hey, I want you to buy 7.62x39 mags, and you guys should just do it. It's very cool. What we need to do is really bully the Sons of Liberty team into making a 7.62x39 AR, because why not, right? I think they could do it. They have some new Wonderbolt now.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, is that it's stronger, right? And everybody thinks that the bolts are weak on the 7.62.
Have you guys ever thought of AK mags?
I have
There's some
thought
places
about
that
it.
could probably use those right now.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just they're a weird magazine. I know they're very simple, but I don't know. Maybe we would. I don't know.
The feed lips and everything on the top of that and the
Would that
lug
have to
is
be
just
steel, or can you still make those out of aluminum?
Oh, you could make them out of aluminum. The original AK magazines were stamped aluminum.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And a lot of people, I've had conversations when we talk about AK mags. People are like, well, don't do them in aluminum because the Soviets did that and it didn't work out. They weren't strong enough. And I was like, the aluminum of the 1950s? And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, this is a little different. It was like, AK mags are big as shit. It's like you can use a heavier gauge material. And it's like, all your AR mags are made out of aluminum. They're fine. I was like, what's wrong with, maybe we will make AK mags out of aluminum.
The 5.56 AK market, I've heard, is going to get big. So.
Well, yeah, because nobody can get 5.45.
Well, yeah. So you might want to make a 5.56 AK mag.
Yeah, I know.
If you're looking for, C products, I could, design some stuff.
It could be eye products defense.
Yeah, eye products. Y'all better look out.
Ano, those purple mags.
Ano,
those purple mags.
Ano purple AK mags coming out of Ian Anodizing and eye products.
Y'all, before
the big eggplant.
We're almost at time here. Do y'all make your followers too, or somebody else make the followers?
Yeah.
Y'all make the followers?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why? You got a problem?
No, man, we cool.
No, I was just wondering because I'm a big fan of the orange followers. I like the orange followers.
Me too. They're my favorite. I mean, it's like it's not the the early aughts anymore. We don't like flippy chamber check. It's not what we're doing. We're not ultra dynamic anymore. But there's something about the contrast of the colors. For me, I think it's super cool. I like the orange and the black. I like the way it looks. It's just personal preference. I mean, we make them in black, but I think the orange is tight, and it's kind of become a little like a signature thing for us. So, why not? We kind of stick with it. And I like it. Obviously the color coding is cool when you have different calibers and a variety of calibers. It's a quick identification for the assembly team.
I think I need to go home and dig through my metal mag stash. I'm pretty sure I got some C products in there, the old school.
Probably a lot of people.
I would 100%
on the mags.
Yeah.
I was going through my deployment bag not that long ago, and just like my random Army shit that I found. It was an old Colt mag that probably shouldn't be used anymore, and an old C product, and then there was another one. I forgot. It was like, oh, look at these old dinosaurs.
I don't know. I think I don't know. The era, through firearms through the era is always really interesting to me. I recently had an opportunity to go. I was at NRA headquarters in Virginia, and they have the museum attached to it, and it's like we're doing product familiarization, talking about stuff with their publication team, and we spent all morning doing that, and we're doing product demos, and I was like, when do I get to go to the museum? And I was like, are we done here? I was like, I want to go next door. This is cool. And two of the curators actually, they had some free time, and they took like 5 of us. We were going through, and they took us through the museum, and we were talking like point by point by point. And the collection is amazing. They've got some stuff that they've got one of one kind of items there, and it's just wild. They were showing us some guns that they were like, the CIA said that, these are the only 2 that exist, and we have 7 of them. It's a lot of stuff like that I'm like, oh, cool. Like, you remember like the Liberator from World War II?
Yeah.
You think they're super common. Like everybody knows about the Liberator. There is really none of them that exist. Like, it's wild. Like they have a little case of like a few of them, and that's an example where they're like, we have more of these than the government says exist. And it's just even the history of that these guys have true knowledge of firearms history at every era. And it's just wild. They just rattle this off, and because they're the curator of the museum. It's their life's work. And something like the Liberator is really cool because they know the ins and outs of the entire history, and why it was built and how it was destroyed and where it was dumped in the Pacific Ocean, and the fact that they manufactured however million of them, and they couldn't even give them away at the PX. So it's just like. They're literally like, the whole operation, they were intended to be airdropped into France, and it never even happened. They never even did it, and it was just like, or something like that. Spouting it from memory, but then they ended up in the Pacific, and they're literally at, at the islands. They're just trying to give them out to the guys, heading out on patrol or whatever, and they're like, no, don't give me that bullshit. So they couldn't do anything with them. They just dumped them in the ocean. But, here and there, guys pocket them and bring them back home. So it's like a bunch of these things exist. And it's like there was this whole like manufacturing blunder that, the government spent a bunch of money on, and it just never worked out as intended. And then they did it again in Vietnam with the CIA deer gun. That, again, a thing that doesn't officially exist, and the NRA has a bunch of them sitting in a case. It's just wild, And it's like the curator is like, he's like, I have a gun shop, and I had a guy that brought in 2 of them, And it's just like they just come out of nowhere. But they did the exact same thing. They were going to airdrop them into like North Vietnam and Laos or whatever, and then they didn't, and then they were trying to give them away to Joes going out on patrol, and then they didn't take them, so they dumped those in the Pacific Ocean too. It's just like
a bunch of guns
keep
everywhere.
doing this.
Yeah.
Who knows what weird thing we were going to airdrop into,
Afghanistan,
Iraq,
we
or
just
You
dropped
get like a big net out there in the Pacific.
Yeah.
Like,
Just start dragging it.
we didn't airdrop it into Afghanistan. We just left it in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
lesson learned. Don't dump it in the ocean. Leave it at the airport.
Leave it
It's
for
so
the
much more
terrorists. It's
convenient.
much more convenient for them to disseminate across the Middle East. Anyway.
Yeah, real cool stuff.
So,
real cool stuff.
If you've listened to this entire podcast and you've got questions, please visit the Big Tex Facebook group on Facebook, V2, and comment if you've got any questions for Justus or Ike, myself, or Ian. Let us know how you like the podcast on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, whatever you need to do. Find us on iTunes. Is it called iTunes or just called Apple?
Apple?
Apple Music.
Apple iTunes?
We're on
iStore.
Spotify.
Are we on LimeWire?
I don't
can
think
be.
anybody is
I
on
don't think-
LimeWire.
I don't know.
Audible. We're on Audible.
Audible, yes.
Audible. Amazon Music. Alexa. You can tell Alexa to play the Big Tex Ordnance podcast, and it will. So we'll give it to you. Here you go. Thank you for watching, listening, whatever. Ian,
Remember
and thank you for...
Remember to take all the rounds out of your mags to give the spring a rest.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
God.
Big time.
Oh, God.